If Caribbean nations had been more serious about regional unity and cooperation, Donald Trump's disruptive tariffs would not be such a crisis. But they didn't. And now the moment has come where they have no choice because Trump has forced on them a crisis that they should have seen coming at least since last year.
From a regional perspective, we all will have now to ensure that, again, we focus on how do we get support, further support our producers in being able to access the full global supply chain and to be able to start to do more trade with each other.
Caribbean leaders have been paying lip service to regional unity, cooperation, and stronger ties for decades. After the last few years of post-pandemic inflation fueled by global conflict and climate change, a new wave of higher prices are about to be unleashed, and the countries of the region need to get serious about cutting out unnecessary imports and finding new ways to cut out the middleman and buy direct.
The 25% of cars, right? A lot of the cars that we buy come through the United States. And it's not just in cars, it's on auto parts as well. A lot of the auto parts that we may be needing because it's coming. So what it may mean, if you just looked at cars, for example, and we wanted to try and how do we deal with the increase in the price of cars? We then have to say, well, maybe we need to buy more directly from the countries that are not having to pay these tariffs.
Economics often seems like a lot of numbers, but at its core, it's about human behavior. And the importing behavior of the Caribbean must change if the islands are going to escape having their economies strangled by the rising costs caused by Trump's tariffs.
We have the ability to change our traditional buying patterns to get directly to those countries who are not increasing the price of the vehicles. They have only gone up in the United States. So reduce your dependence on purchases from the United States.
Cut out the middleman.
Cut out the middleman. Take a hard look at what you buy. When you go to the supermarket, why are you buying these fancy chips that are costing, every housewife will tell you, what? One little packet of I can't remember the brand, I won't call the brand names. When you can buy your plantain chips and your breadfruit chips. So we have to start buying local. And the variety of things that are now becoming available at a much better price are just as good. I mean, I buy more plantain and breadfruit chips now than and I'm getting them barbecue. They're beginning to make it fancy.
Larger countries can hit back at the US with retaliatory tariffs of their own. However, apart from the fact that this only makes global inflation worse, small states like St. Lucia do not have that option of starting a trade war with the world's richest nation. What they can do is to individually and collectively choose to use their money to make themselves stronger.
We just have to decide, you know what, we are too dependent on the United States with all that is going on, not just because of the immigration issues. Do we need to pay Netflix $7 a month? I don't, you need to decide, because that's going to go up too. And so, we just have to decide, let's become a little more, during COVID, although we liked the Netflix during COVID, but it was so relaxed. Everybody was quiet, they were staying home, they weren't spending money. We were relying, we had to be careful, we didn't know whether the country was going to go bankrupt. We reduced our expenditure.
Eat more fig, a wise prime minister once said metaphorically, and he was ridiculed for it by an opposition leader who once said that food security was an idea that fell out of a cow's behind. But the time has come when the people of St. Lucia have a choice. They can continue to spend their money on imports of processed food and products that increase the healthcare costs in their country, or they can choose to make themselves stronger by eating what they grow and making what they need. In addition, anything that they cannot do for themselves should be sourced from friendly neighbors in the region who have no reason or interest in upsetting the economies of other countries.